part of being a human is getting tired. And I'm not just talking about the end of the day or we've been pushing hard through, a couple of weeks. I'm talking about the kind of fatigue and exhaustion that can hit a leader and then ultimately lead them toward burnout. Exhaustion can often come from the idea that I feel like I'm always having to move uphill and make hard decisions and figure out the next thing. Like that thing doesn't necessarily go away. And to some level in your life, unfortunately, it doesn't go away. We get it. You're busy. You want to grow, and we want to help. You're passionate about your craft because it deeply matters to you. Your faith is important. It's your foundation. At Stay Forth, we coach leaders to avoid burnout, live and lead with clarity, purpose, and from a place of health. We want you to experience long-term impact. Welcome to the journey.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. We are here for episode 3 in our Anti-Burnout Summer Series. Moving right along, this week they're all relevant. This one here is probably very relevant because most people probably ignore the content that we're going to talk today, Alan. So where are we headed with this episode?
Yeah, there's this phrase I hear all the time from leaders. And if I'm honest, in the last 6 months, especially during the school year, I end up saying it a lot. The phrase, I'm so tired. I am so tired. And we're going to talk about the word slightly differently today in exhaustion. But part of being a human is getting tired. And I'm not just talking about the end of the day, or for me, it's the afternoon. The kind of late afternoon is my least fruitful time work-wise. I'm an early morning guy. And then I kind of come back alive in the evening. But I'm not just talking about getting tired at the end of the day. I'm not just talking about we've been pushing hard through, a couple of weeks. I'm talking about the kind of fatigue and exhaustion that can hit a leader and then ultimately lead them toward burnout. And so I've got to kind of clarify that first. And actually, I want to share a couple of things that make me tired first and kind of exhaust me. Jonathan, if you want to add a few to that would be great. For me, exhaustion can often come from the idea that I feel like I'm always having to move uphill and make hard decisions and figure out the next thing. Like that thing doesn't necessarily go away. And to some level in your life, leader, unfortunately, it doesn't go away at some level. And you can raise up teams and, bring people into the decision, but that's kind of part of being a leader. And what I realize is at the end of the week, I'm tired of the uphill climb. And sometimes all it takes is just that one Sabbath day of replenishment, or maybe it's a few days away or a week away for a vacation. And then I go, I really just needed a rest. I'm not tired of the uphill climb. I actually love the challenge of it, but I just needed some time to rest. So I think just the constant decision-making and uphill climb can really exhaust me. What's one of those things for you, Jonathan?
And I'm very empathetic and feeling and experiencing the gambit of people's emotions and things that they're navigating on the daily. By the end of the day, and then oftentimes by the end of the week, it can be oftentimes fulfilling, but also very, very, very exhausting.
It's important for us to realize it's all different, because I feel a shade of that, but not as much. But my wife, Julie, would say something similar. She actually runs a foster care agency. Talk about hard challenges that she faces. So it's very important for you in this whole series to realize your awareness, what you come to, the clarity you gain here is a little bit different from me and from Jonathan. And so that's why we do it differently. We leave you space. So if you're just tuning in, this is your first episode, you go, man, that's kind of a weird podcast setup. Well, we like it. It's a good kind of weird here. Normally, we bring you guests and interviews, but as Jonathan mentioned, we are in an 8-week series on my new book, Anti-Burnout, A Lighter Way to Live and Lead in a Heavy World. So at the risk of being self-promoting, friends, pick up the book, work slowly through it this summer. It's meant as a coaching exercise or journey. And so where we find ourselves is in the midst of a section on opportunities and obstacles. Here's the challenge. First, you're going to hit the obstacle. You got to move through it like you're going on a bear hunt. You can't go over it. You can't go under it. You got to go through it. On the other side of every obstacle is an opportunity, and they correspond. And so today's obstacle we're talking about is exhaustion, and we're going to move toward this beautiful opportunity, which is replenishment. Again, if you're a human, you are going to get tired. I want to talk about 3 types of fatigue to kind of keep in mind. Number 1 is expected fatigue. Expected fatigue, you understand that that's the case. In May, I have expected fatigue about the end of school, about the weather, the seasons, things like that. It's still snowing a little bit here in Colorado. I just expect to be tired at the end of May, which is why we like to take a vacation right when the kids get out of school. The second type of fatigue is extended fatigue. I would say if you have been fatigued for 6 months or more, be careful. That's not just, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to push through this season. Time out. Extended fatigue. You've been extended in your fatigue for a period of time. That is getting dangerous, friends, and that could lead toward burnout. The last one, which I would say you are bordering burnout in this one, is extreme fatigue. Extreme fatigue. We're going to talk about sources of fatigue here in a little bit. Maybe you're feeling it in multiple areas. Maybe it just won't go away. Maybe you are literally caring for an ailing parent and there's no end in sight and you've literally been doing this for years. Maybe you have a child that's deeply struggling with something and they continue to have issues that you just simply cannot control. Whatever that is for you, if you are in either expected fatigue, extended fatigue, or extreme fatigue, it's important to just name what level of fatigue am I feeling. If I say, I'm tired, but really what I need is just to sleep in 2 days in a row, that's very different from for the last 9 months, I have felt like I'm up against a brick wall every single week and I don't know if my company is going to make it. That's very different. So the keystone phrase we use in each one of these, it's at the beginning of this section. I'm going to read it. Energy leaks effortlessly, but replenishment requires intentionality. Energy leaks effortlessly, but replenishment requires intentionality. Just know that what happens easily is that the energy is just going to come out of you. Jonathan, you're going to find people to join in and hear about their problems. There's going to be no shortage of that in the world, unfortunately, today or in our friend circles. For me, there's going to be the next climb, the next decisions that need to be made. That's fine. That's good. We just need to work around those things very intentionally. The source of your fatigue is very, very important to pinpoint. So not only what level are you feeling, but what's the source? The body? Is it the mind? Is it your relationships? Is it your heart? Maybe you're feeling some kind of numbness there, or is it your soul that you're not feeling like you're connecting to purpose right now? And so just a quick overview on those. Again, your physical body, maybe you're just exhausted there from sleep or lack of exercise or pushing yourself too much. Your mind, maybe you're making too many decisions, you're spinning all the time, you're answering emails at home, and that's both the root and fruit of how hard and challenging work is right now. You're always solving the next problem. Relationships, maybe you have conflict, maybe you have drama, even toxicity in your relationships that is just exhausting to you, and you feel like you really can't rest as a safe place in those relationships. Your heart, maybe you're feeling disconnected from people, and again, connected to the relationships. Maybe your heart is just feeling like, does this even matter right now? And is my heart even in it? You feel disengaged or disconnected. And lastly, your soul, maybe you don't feel connected to the divine. Maybe you feel like there's no purpose in what you're doing and you're having a soul deep issue. So Jonathan, lead us into this kind of first question and reflection time.
You need to identify some things. And so as we leave you here for a few moments, spend some time and assess the source or sources of your exhaustion.
one thing to pay attention to as you reflect on that, and maybe you need more reflection, by the way, than the couple minutes that we give you, think about the season. Don't beat yourself up. Think about the season. I mentioned May, and the end of school is just a tough season for us. I tend to feel really replenished in the summer. I know that the fall can be a really hard push. I know that a lot of people are weighed down by family relationships in December, and the holidays can just be a really tough time. Maybe you lost a loved one at this time 3 years ago, and it's always a hard month or a hard time for you. So just understand the context of, here's the season that I'm in. I want to introduce you to something that's really simple. It's here in the book. There's a chart. We fill it out. We utilize it as a tool at Stay Forth. And it's just a drains and fills list. As we move intentionally toward replenishment, I just want to remind you, it's not going to happen on accident. You're not just going to go, oh, look how healthy I became. Whoa, look how replenished I feel. It is going to be intentional, and it's going to be hard fought. But I'm telling you, once you get over the hump with that, it's incredibly helpful to know and to come back to. This list, very, very simple, drains and fills, drains on the left, fills on the right. And just to name, what are those drains? And it doesn't mean that those things are bad. Maybe those are a particular family member that's ailing in some way that you need to serve. Maybe that's a friend that has a lot going on right now, and you want to show up and be the steady for them as they wrestle through hard things in life. Maybe the drain is a particular part of your job. You got to do it, but you shouldn't do it for your whole week. The fills list. These are things that feel amazing to you, maybe 5 minutes at a time or 5 hours at a time. And this could be something like Jonathan's talking about kayaking this summer, or getting to the beach that he can do, 10, 12 times in the course of the summer. Maybe the fills list is literally the 1 mile walk that my wife and I do at the end of the day, and sometimes bringing our kids along to just catch up at the end of the day. For me, sometimes I take my dog out for a run. Sometimes I love sitting on the back porch with a good friend. Sometimes these things are free. Sometimes these things are very expensive, like a long vacation. Your drains and your fills, it's really important to know. Remember, in this series, we're bringing you from awareness to action, but we can't take the action for you. We can bring you to that spot. We can bring a horse to water, but we can't make you drink. We bring you right up to that. We bring you question, reflection time, just enough information to be dangerous. And then we want to bring you to that spot where we're going to want you to apply this. We're going to want you to move from awareness to action in this. I want to introduce you to something as we kind of move toward the end of our time here, a replenishment cycle. Replenishment is not a one-time thing. You can go on vacation, you can have a couple of drinks, put your toes in the sand, have time at the pool, sleep in, and then I've seen people go straight back to the life they were living in. Friend, a vacation is not enough to keep you replenished and healthy and steady and creative and doing meaningful things in the world. It's just not enough. It's good, but it's not enough. You need to find a replenishment cycle. Well, what does that look like? That each day you have things that bring just a little bit of life and buoyancy, that bring that rest, that energy. Maybe they're habits for you of things that you don't do, like answering email at a particular time or answering your phone at a particular time. Maybe they're things that you do on the other side of that. And they could fill, again, any of those areas of body, mind, relationships, heart, soul. And you need that on a daily basis, but also on a weekly basis. And again, before our last reflection question, friends, I want to remind you of the Right Side Up Journal. We designed this for people like you who don't just want to get healthy once, but you want to actually get healthy, stay healthy, and continue to create meaning in the world. Jonathan and I have been doing this for many years, and we want to continue to do this for many years. Our team, I feel like at Stay Forth, is just getting started in the impact that we're having in people's lives. So I have already had 2 vacations this summer and times to be able to get away. One was shorter, one was longer. And to be able to get away because that's how much I want to be fresh in what I'm doing. That's how much I want to have an impact in what I'm doing. If you want to go the long haul, friends, then you need to think about daily and weekly replenishment cycles. Jonathan, what do you got for us for a last question?
Everyone will face levels of tiredness and exhaustion at times, but it doesn't have to be the quote unquote normal. If that's normal for you, then you're stuck. And then if you're that way, then I want you to hit pause and go right back and listen to last week's episode. If you're watching this, you can click anywhere around in here and you can see it. but you're stuck, and then you need some newness. And how you do that is you take action. So I'm going to leave you with some space to think, and I really want you to think, because you're more tired than you think you are. And if you say I'm not tired, be honest. No shame, no bullying. Like, it's real. But you need a replenishment cycle. And that's going to take some discipline. That's going to take some habits and some building. So what are the daily and weekly habits you need to start developing right now to develop a replenishment cycle to regain some energy and reduce your tiredness?
All right, friends, so you've got a list. You've got a list of things each day you can do. And I just call these micro habits. Then you've got a kind of mid-range list of things that each week you can do. And again, as an action step, we want to remind you that if you do not have a copy of the Right Side Up Journal, go to Amazon and get it. In addition to my book, it pairs really, really well with Anti-Burnout, because Anti-Burnout is some tools, some principles, some stories that are going to get you to a spot to go, yes, I need daily and weekly replenishment habits. Your Right Side Up Journal is the pathway. That's how you're going to clarify those, and that's how you're going to take courage on those. That's how you're going to create awareness in your life. These are the things I need to do, and how you're going to take action and hold yourself accountable. From goal setting to tools, friends, I think this is the best deal out there in leadership development, is our Right Side Up Journal. We've worked really hard to give you an experience. I know not all of you can afford one-on-one coaching or even our cohort, which, by the way, we have an anti-burnout cohort coming up this fall. I'm so excited to guide people through. I'll be leading that each week. But the Right Side Up Journal is your way to hold yourself accountable. Friends, we are communal creatures, but we have to take self-leadership. We have to take steps and continue to take those steps. And we have designed the Right Side Up Journal for you. So it's in the show notes. Find it over on Amazon. Friends, we love this summer series. We love you, and we're so grateful for you not just tuning in here, but here's what Jonathan and I would love to hear. That question allowed me to make a new gain in my own life. Something changed. Something's different because of the summer podcast series. Here we go. This is the end of week 3. And friends, we got 5 more weeks of this Anti-Burnout Summer Series. We're so grateful for you. What we want to hear is that you are making progress toward the life that you are designed to live. We want you to live and lead in a lighter way. We'll catch you on next episode here at the podcast.